I would use the e-collar more at lower numbers and before the explosion. It's way easier to prevent the bomb than to clean it up afterwards. If your dog's been over there, walk over slowly, give them some affection. Don't let them get up though. You have to give them love and positive reinforcement for being in the down. Somebody wants to go hug Sadie's owner. She's been doing a great job. And then after you give your dog some love and affection for being in the down, grab the leash, tell them break, come bring them back over to the shade. Hey, down.
Down.
Blue, come here, lay down. Slow down in collar pressure, you're too high.
Down.
What number you at?
4.
TCM? I would go down to TPM. If he's like super reactive that day, or you're like walking through Huntington Beach, like the main street or something, you'll want to be in TCM. But for the most part, he's pretty mellow, so you should be. But my challenge to you is to get him to listen at even an 18 TBM instead of a 1, 2, 3, or 4 TCM, because it's a little bit higher. So when you press it, you can see he's like, what? I'm not even doing it, you know, and again, it becomes that whining of like, A, I don't know what's happening, and B, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong or what I need to be doing. So it's like a confused whimper. And what happens is, so for instance, I talk a lot during group class, and for the most part, this is my number. I'm like, let's say an 11 TBM when I'm talking to you guys. Sometimes I'll come over and I'll talk to one person, and guess what? Everyone else is listening, and they all can hear me at this number. So it's kind of understanding that like your dog, even though I might usually have to talk like this, once you kind of like get in the zone and you're talking like this, when I jump back up out of nowhere, it's like a little harsh. It's like, why are you yelling at me, dude? It's like, I've been yelling for an hour. What are you talking about? It's like, well, you drop back down. Now I've got your attention and focus. So usually with a dog like this, especially at the end of group class, you guys should all be lower in number. When you first got here, you should have probably been a little bit higher because it's new distractions. It's the excitement of I just got out of the car. Right. Your dog was rolling around like it was the happiest dog in the world when it got here. Now it's like, I'm chill, I'm relaxed, I have clarity, I'm having a good time. So the goal is you might have to start the day off by going, okay, let's kick today's butt, but then it's like mellow. You don't need to constantly be like motivating yourself throughout the entire day. Same thing. The goal is to communicate lower, right? If I have to keep yelling, if by the end of group class I was like, really, it's like to get your attention because everyone's on their phones and distracted, like that would be I lost your attention, right? I didn't keep it. Same thing, you focused the past hour on getting attention. The dog's staring at you right now to use the same number that you might have been at the beginning because he sometimes doesn't listen. That's correction, and that's, you're anticipating the negative behavior, so it's like, be a step ahead. Go, you know what, I'm gonna be so on top of him that I can operate at a lower number, and he's just gonna focus on me. Just like if I tapped you on the side, like, hey, look at that, versus, hey, look at that. I don't have to be so expressive. I can just give you a quick tap and you'll look over there because I've got your attention. Any questions from today's group class?
Phyllis, collar smart behavior, how can I try to avoid it?
What do you mean?
Like when I tell Cinder to sit and she doesn't have the e-collar on, sometimes she'll be all, nope. But when I have the e-collar on, even if I don't even have the remote or I'm touching it, she's like, oh, okay, I have to sit.
Yeah. So for me, that screams the dog has association of the remote is punishment. So for me, I would use it more at a lower number. It seems the theme for today has been to use the e-collar more and at a lower number and to be a step ahead to prevent and anticipate. So I would practice putting the e-collar on, finding a lower number, and getting the dog to sit where it's so sharp. Then maybe grab some treats and overlay that, so now the dog's like, oh, well, if I get an A, I'm maybe getting a reward on top of being told what to do. I think a lot of us are heavy-handed with the e-collar, and then the dogs are like, you guys expect so much out of me, but we don't then overlay the actual affection. Like, I always notice when we take a walk with the dogs, granted we're in a group, so we don't want to like be weird, but not everybody is animated. Not everybody is like excited with their dog and trying to be interesting. If you're not interesting, your dog's gonna find something else to be interested in. So that's why I always say, be the most interesting person to your dog, get him excited, let him know, hey, come on, let's go. We're gonna do this. We're gonna weave in between everybody. You might've been thinking that in your head. You're like, we're going, I got this, we're good. And you're like talking to yourself with your dog, and that's why the dog's like, gotcha, we're in sync right now. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I would use the e-collar more at lower numbers and before the explosion. It's way easier to prevent the bomb than to clean it up afterwards. If these dogs explode, you're now dealing with the aftermath. We don't want you to ever get to the aftermath. I want you to prevent it. I don't want the child to sneak out of the bedroom. I want to prevent it. I don't want them to fail out of school. I want to prevent it. We have to teach the dogs what we want and just be really, really on top of it. And the more specific that you are, the more, you know, they're going to be on that precision, accurate behavior that you want. Any other questions from today? Next Sunday, we're probably going to be doing paddleboarding on both days. I've had a lot of people message me that they can't do paddleboarding on Saturday, and if we do it on Sunday, that they'll come. So I'm pretty sure that next weekend, we're going to do a double paddleboarding weekend, and we're going to do it on Saturday and Sunday from 9 to 12.
Beatles.
Check-in is from 8:45 to 9. I reserve 15 boards. If you get there 8:45 to 9 and we have like 20 people, they can accommodate. But if you guys get there late, they run out of boards by 9 o'clock. We only have a certain amount reserved. We've had, I'd say maybe like 6 to 8 people show up late and then they can't get a board. So I'd really recommend getting there on time. We've had a decent amount of other people also from Facebook or Instagram that want to join us. They came out this past weekend. We had 3 guests and they all did it. Every single person that's come out to do paddleboarding has successfully done it. We've now had over 60 dog owners and their dogs get on paddleboards. It's so much fun. This is great, but this is hot. I'm telling you right now, if you guys could sit on the paddleboard with Carter and dip your toes in the water, you guys would be having fun, just like everyone else who comes, and Carter would be having a blast. I think you'd see he'd be laying like that at the end of the board, and you go, I can't believe it's so easy. And even little things like that, like I would work on having your son come over and go, hey, can I get some kisses?
Off.
And then go, hey, off, sit, thank you. And get to the point where the human can go over and kiss the dog. Hey, shh. But you see, it's even, you're close to me. I must turn on my engine.
Yeah.
But it's like we have to help the dog calm itself down, because it's like, it's still anxious.
Yeah.
That's all anxious excitement.
And that's the thing, she never does that to me. She'll just come, she'll give me one kiss, and that's it.
She's protecting.
But with my husband, with my son,
More
and
affection.
she just goes berserk like that.
Yeah.
And she starts to lick my granddaughter, who's only a year old. And we had to work with her. That's why she went to Temecula, because she saw her as prey.
Oh, wow.
When they first came home. So that's why we got her involved in Epic Dog Shows,
Gotcha.
because I couldn't have her have a baby.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But now she goes up to the baby, she'll lick her once and walk on her. So I really, really work with her, and I don't want the baby to go up to her when she's laying down. I keep that distance.
You have to control that environment,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
with kids. It's definitely a concern. It's all constant variable, and that child is very unpredictable. And then when you have a high energy dog that can go 1 to 10, it's like putting mines in the play area that the kid goes into, and it's like, good luck. You got to get through this.
Right.
So you're doing a great job.